Oh my goodness, welcome back. Fresh off of my top 6 win at the Chaos Origins pseudo pre-release. Actually, not really fresh. It's been like 4 days. Again, it wasn't like an actual, it was a winner box with a mat raffle. I won my son Griffo. He's currently being used in my boyfriend's Ritual Lightness Darkness. Anyway, I want to show you my deck. I want to show you my Fairy Tale Magistus deck that got me top 6 out of 20 people out of 5 rounds. Me. I got top 6. Crazy. I still, best moment in 2026 by far, honestly, because like, what do you mean? What do you mean the girl who had never played a single game of Yu-Gi-Oh! A year ago got top 6 of like an actual, anyway, okay, let's get into my deck, my list, my tips, my tricks, my Fairy Tale Magistus sticks. Let's do it. Okay, so I want to go ahead and go over what I guess would be non-engine hand trap board breaker stuff first. So I am playing 3 Fuas. Let me get the hand trap stuff out first. 3 Ashes. Might move my QCRs. I have QCR Ashes and Malice. I think I'm probably going to move it over to Fairy Tale because as much as I do love Malice, I do not see myself playing it here for a little bit, just very much on the Fairy Tale Magistus train. And then the star of the entire show was Droll. I noticed so many decks, including my own, kind of died or just really struggled against Droll. So I think 2 Drolls in main is really good. Another game changer for the deck, if you've seen past versions where I've talked about it, is I am now maining 3 crowns. I was not really maining board breakers at all. And it was really good to have the crown specifically. There was one match where I crowned the DDD Caesar right away. And that was really nice to be able to have. And then 3 Super Polys. This was, I mean, it's a great Super Poly format, not gonna lie. And then just some 1-ofs. 1 Terraforming, maining Called By, and then 1 Instant Fusion. I have never mained Metamorphosis like in actual play. I think the having to tribute is not great. Okay, for the Fairy Tale stuff, I am playing 2 Jania of the Rings. This was really cool because Jania targeted a Mitsu monster to special, and it was the only Mitsu monster my opponent had out, so it was no longer a reptile. It was a spellcaster, so they couldn't Great Purification me anymore. At least I think that's what they were trying to do. It was great. It's an amazing card. Turns 7 into spellcasters. It's also great for Super Poly and just for, in general, fusing with your opponent's stuff if you can make them Prince of Fairies. One way you can make them Prince of Fairies is I'm playing 2 Match Girls. Another star of the show. Not for the paying 500 to make Prince of Fairies. I very rarely did that. I kind of forget it's a thing. But because I very often had to normal Match Girl and then Match Girl effect to special Match Girl from my hand because I controlled an 1850 Match Girl. That happened twice. It's never happened before in play. Happened twice in the tournament. 1 Snow. She's Snow, what can we say? We love her. And then 3 Lunas. Something I want to get better about is utilizing the Luna add back, like targeting my opponent's monster to add it back, and then the Luna to add back more like thoughtfully. I feel like often I will see a monster that I'm like, oh, they probably don't have one to send to extract, but still like I Luna'd on a Snatchy before they did Mignon. So that was not an optimal time to do it. And then Once Upon a Fairy Tale. I've been sending this off of Wiccat more than I used to, and I think it's really good to have it set for your opponent's turn. 3 balls. Non-negotiable, I feel, having 3 balls. I will side 1 out if I am going first, just because this is often the like go for game. And so going second, I'd like to open it and then be able to search the fusion. It's not as big of a deal if it's not on the end board, and I'd rather have more like, I'd rather have a nib. So I'll side 1 out for like a nib. And then 1 tells the Fairy Tales to fuse. Okay, for the Magistus engine, 1 Zerora, 1 Jenny. Jenny, I learned during the tournament, is the effect is copying. So if you Jenny copy Ved to special, you can't ash that because the effect isn't specialing, the effect is copying. 1 Bald Boy Crowley, 1 Rigatoni, and then 3 Spentas. One way I was attempting to play around Droll in the tournament because I got Drolled the first match and it was really, really bad, is instead of Spenta searching Rigatoni, which was kind of my like original line to like play around Nib, Spenta searching Crowley. Crowley will special himself, and then that gives you a better opportunity to get 2 level 4s. You need 2 level 4s to kind of get this deck going. And then 3 Veds. Another thing I'll say, because I'll do some test hands and show you maybe like some combos and stuff at the end. Ved comes in clutch because of that when your opponent activates a card or effect, special summon 1 Magistus or Witchcrafter monster from your hand or deck. Very often, I feel like this deck does well when you get to utilize like the interaction of stuff like Ved or Jania to target something for Spellcaster, to fuse away with your opponent's stuff. Like this is definitely a deck, like you can practice your lines, practice your combos, but I think it really does well it plays best off of having an opponent. I don't know, I feel like there's some decks like when you practice the combo, like it literally doesn't matter if your opponent is there or not. The only reason your opponent would be there would be to stop you, which you're like, why would I want my opponent to stop me? But with Fairy Tale Magistus, the deck does better when you're actually playing against someone. Like even if your combo lines get stopped, like you have more stuff to do. Okay, so that is the main deck. I'm going to go ahead and show you the extra deck. I will let you know I have, since the tournament, switched out one of my extra decks. I was planning on switching it out at the tournament for one of the new Chaos Origins cards, but they didn't have any product to buy. I'll tell you what I was playing originally because it's not that crazy of a difference. Okay, so for the Fairy Tale stuff, we have Wiccat. This got ashed so many times. Who told y'all to ash this? I know I did, but like, don't ash my Wiccat. My Wiccat? Don't ash my Wiccat. You need 2 level 4s to go into Wiccat, and this is kind of a choke point, but there's ways to push past it. It wasn't like the end of everything if I got ashed. Weaver and Teller. The Teller negate I thought was going to be so clutch into Ritual and Light and Darkness, but it's not a target negate, so that kind of sucked. In terms of the, I guess, like Magistus side, I am running Selene, never went into it. Granted, I did not really practice doing link climbing prior to this tournament, and I wasn't about to mess up my board. A board I knew what to do with in order to like try out the new thing. So TBD on having Selene and the Charmer Quartet in here. I guess she's not Magistus, but she goes along with her. I am planning on keeping it. I fully understand the logic now. I played with it when I got to do it. It was so cool. This is like an uninterrupted end board, which don't we all want to have? Yes, but like it didn't happen very often. Ninaru, I don't think I used. Chorizo, we love Chorizo. We like to use Chorizo. Definitely used Artemis just for the search, unless I was drolled. Do think I went into Endymion. I think the rest I honestly didn't go into. I do have the Omega in here. I have the Zorora Fusion. I have the Zorora Synchro, and I am keeping the Varam in the main. Okay, call me crazy. People have been telling me, girl, get rid of that card. Like in real life, people are like, hey, your side's really tight. Maybe you could put something else in. I'm like, no, the reason is because just having this equipped, it's a good equip. It says, while this is an equip card, the equip monster cannot be destroyed by your opponent's spell trap effects. That's nice. And then it also has the blah, 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 blah. If this, blah, 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 blah. Nope. At the start of the damage step, if the monster this card is equipped to battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that opponent's monster. And no one knows what this does. I did it once and the person read it, so they knew how to play around it. But sometimes people don't read. And sometimes people don't ask. And while I say don't be sneaky playing Yu-Gi-Oh, offer up information, you also do not have to, when you play stuff, immediately. Like, this is why I say a really good habit, mini TED Talk, a really good habit is to say, okay, can you explain what interaction you have on the board? And hopefully you're not playing a butthole and they will tell you. And I'll tell you. I'll be like, this is what Valram does, this is blah, 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 blah. But sometimes people don't want to ask questions. And it's like, if you don't ask to read my cards and you don't ask what they do, I do not have to explicitly tell you what every single card is going to do. I played against good players, so they read it. And then the last 2 super poly targets, Mudragon, and we're going to pretend this is a Garura. I can show you my really pretty sleeves. Pretend it's a Garura. That's what I played in the tournament. And I did Garura, a Mitsu board. But I have since switched it to, how do we say his name? Mixosia. Oh my gosh, these sleeves are so dirty. This is from Chaos Origins. I wanted to play it in the tournament. I would have if they had product for me to open. It takes 1 spellcaster, 1 non-spellcaster, really great generic fusion for this deck. And it says you can target 1 face-up monster on the field, declare 1 attribute, it becomes that attribute. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck by managing this card you control and monsters from your field or graveyard as material. So pretend that's Garura. That was the extra deck. And then for the side, 3 of the cards were not real. Sorry. I mean, like they were real cards. There were 3 synchros that my boyfriend just gave me to put in there to have 15 cards in the side. My boyfriend was planning on playing Chess Off Note, and they had no product to buy. So I had 3 Solemn Accusations going into the tournament. I gave him his Solemns back for his side because he literally had to change his entire deck to pure Elf Note right before the tournament. So like extra shout out that he won, because like it's kind of crazy. He went in with a whole different game plan, and because there was 0 product to buy, he didn't get to do that game plan. So for my side, during the actual tournament, I did have 3 Perulias. I used 3 Nibs. I also sided these in. 3 Droplets. I also sided those in. I did not play a single Cool Tunes player, so the Theseus went unused, and I had 2 Secret Villages. The other 3 cards were random synchros that I wasn't going to be using. What I currently have in the side is another Secret Village, Talents, and Rivalry. I don't know. I might not keep these. This is just so I have a side. And I'm like, I like this, but there might be better stuff to side in than the Secret Village of the Spellcaster. So yeah, that was the deck that I got top 6 with at the event. So yeah, I want to go ahead and do a test hand or 2, show you maybe some tips, some tricks. I'm going to pile shuffle because I literally just completely organized it and had everything perfectly laid out. So let's see if we can get that to be better. So yeah, a couple things that I have learned since playing this deck that make it, I guess just make the gameplay a little bit easier, is knowing what is game. So it takes 5 Fairy Tale monsters without the equip spell to go for game. If you have Tales of the Fairy Tales equipped, it only takes 4. Wiccat has the quick effect ability to target a light monster, summon itself, or not light monster, a light fairy tale monster, summon Wiccat, summon itself from grave, and then send that target to the grave. So if you just have 3 fairy tale monsters on board, and one has the equip spell on it, you can do the Wiccat tag and go for game. And often people forget that that's a thing, so it's very unassuming. You go battle phase, they see 1850 times 3. Even if they realize that the Tails has 1,000, they're like, well, this isn't game, I'm going to get a turn back. And then you Wiccat. And once you're in battle phase, especially damage step, very little people can do. Okay, do you want to cut my deck? No? You trust me? Okay, cool. I trust me too. Let's see what we open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, well, this is definitely if I was going first, I wouldn't do anything. I'm gonna be so real with you. Going first, you're gonna Fua in the draw, or depending on like if you have a read on what they're doing, you might want to wait so that way you get a guaranteed draw. We're gonna set Crown. Droll is a maybe. It's going to depend if you start like, so when I have Fua and Droll, I often will just go ahead with the Fua. And then if I notice that they're able to like not have to summon from the deck or extra deck very often. So if it's any kind of deck that is not really going into the extra deck, but is searching, I'll Droll myself and them, and that's perfectly fine. But yeah, this as a actual hand going first, we would hopefully get the turn back. I guess let's see what would happen. So let's say we use these 2. Well, we would get the turn. Well, hopefully we get the turn back. We draw an Ash. Normal Snow. Okay, let's try another one. Every time I do this, every time I try to film, I'm like, well, I guess you're going to get some really good examples of how the deck can brick. It really didn't brick much at all. I do wonder if the pile shuffle, if I have a bunch of that was a lot of the like traps, the hand traps, spells, stuff. Maybe it's not really as shuffled up as it should be. I'm going to actually cut it. Okay. It's because you didn't cut my deck. That's where that happened. Ooh, already after bear start. Okay, yeah, this is a much more typical hand. Of course, we draw the bald boy. We never want to draw the bald boy, but at least we have it. Okay, so in this situation, I would instant fusion right away. I've learned my lesson from holding on to instant fusion. Stuff ends up happening that we don't like, meaning it ends up not going through. We would instant fuse, in this case, into Weaver. Weaver effect is going to allow us to summon from deck. I'm going to summon Match Girl. Match Girl is going to let us search. Now, obviously, if I get drolled, we still have the Luna normal summon. We can still go into Wiccat. We can even overlay these two with Wiccat. If I get ashed on the Match Girl, then we can still get into Tails by sending it off the Wiccat. We just don't get the Ball. So honestly, I think let's do that instead. Because then at the end board, we could just be like, what if Ball wasn't there? Because she got ashed. So we'll activate Ball. We'll go ahead and I think in this case, I'm going to search Snow. That way I can get it into Grave. You're also going to see how many times I do search. So you'll be like, yeah, the droll do be drolling. Okay, so then at this point, we will activate Spenta. We're going to get Spenta into, I think, Zerora. Keep in mind, we still have it normal summoned. I kind of want to keep that for a while. So this is going to get destroyed at end phase, so I'm perfectly fine overlaying. Going into Wiccat. Wiccat detached you. The Match Girl can summon herself back from Grave. So at this point, I think we send a Once Upon. And we send a... Where are you? A Tales of the Fairy Tales. There we go. Once Upon will trigger to set itself. We can then equip Tails from Grave. Tails to fuse. We'll use the Wiccat, and I think we'll use the Snow. Oh, actually, sorry. I messed up. No, I didn't mess up. I just almost forgot something. When Tails equips from Grave, you get to do an additional normal summon. So we're going to additionally normal summon Luna and search Jania. Okay, now we'll do Tails to fuse. We'll use the Wiccat and the Snow, because Snow is better in Grave. And we'll go into Teller. Still have it normal summoned. So I think what we'll do is we'll normal summon the Zerora effect to equip itself. That's going to trigger Zerora to defense and negated. We'll do Artemis to search. Get Rigatoni. So at this point, stacked hand, we definitely can also now start going into the link stuff. So at this point, yes, we'll have 3 spells. We have Instant Fusion, we have Tails of Fairy Tales, and we have Ball. So for Celine, it doesn't see face down. I used to think that, and then I learned I was wrong. I don't know if I want to use the Endymion for this. Sometimes I like to go into the chorizo just to like not waste stuff, but I think it's fine. Okay, let's go ahead and go into Celine. I think I'll leave this. I probably want to leave the Luna in case there's... Well, I also want to leave Teller for interaction. Hold on. But that's the whole point. No. We're good. So 3 to go into Celine. Celine effect is going to allow us... It'll put 3 spell counters. We'll remove the 3 spell counters. Special summon a spellcaster monster from your hand or graveyard. It does not negate. So we will special summon the Rigatoni. Rigatoni is going to search the Vad. We will immediately activate Vad, sending Jenny. Jenny, we can go ahead and we'll get out a Spenta. Okay, now we can go into the Charmer, and this is going to allow us to, you can target 2 monsters in your graveyard with the same attribute but different types, or with the same type, but I should put this in defense, but different attributes. Special summon both. So we will target Weaver because it is now a new copy that came off, like, because it would have gone destroyed from Instant Fusion. And Luna, same type, different attributes. We have Once Upon set. We have Crowley and Jania in hand, and we have an Ash. So, looking at the end board, if we got ashed on the Match Girl search, we just wouldn't have the ball. We wouldn't have the Luna then or the Jania in hand. But I think we could have done everything else. So this is going to mean that these two cannot be used as fusion materials, so they're not going to get to be super polyed away. Teller is a negate by banishing. We have the Match Girl in grave that could get banished, which is perfectly fine because once upon, if we control a fairy tale, is going to let us summon from banishment. We have Snow in grave, so you figure they have to deal with a Omni Negate and Destroy, kind of a chonky monster, a return to hand, which I probably would do to free up space. So that way, after I Teller negate, and then if I bring Luna back to hand, once upon would bring out the Match Girl and the Snow, which would trigger face down, search, Weaver to rename and negate. And whenever they special summon, they're going to have to get through ball. And I have an Ash in hand. It's a good deck. It's a good deck. And I do really like the link stuff when you get to do it. It's just a matter of sometimes you get stopped. Like, yeah, if that was like if that was fully uninterrupted, I feel like it does make kind of a crazy end board. I will say getting the Spenta out, not really needed. I probably also should have Spenta to equip the Varum to probably the Teller, just so that way, again, I have a little bit of protection. And if they try to go to battle phase to get over it, which is something I feel like people will often go to battle phase in order to try to get over your like Omni Negates. So if you equip this, they're not going to beat over it because you're going to destroy their monster, or it's going to take two monsters to get over it because the first one will not occur. Yeah, that was a crazy dichotomy between full brick and full gas. So that's Yu-Gi-Oh, baby. Like I said, I am going to try, especially with the new Ved stuff coming out and Beyond the Brave in October. I don't know, it's coming out in October. I don't know how much I want to rush it. I'm going to try the regular stuff with the Endymion field spell. That does exist in my frame of reference. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it from here. Again, I guess let me show you real quick what I mean by how you can go for game. So if you have any three, normally you're gonna have one of the fusions. Okay, if you have any three with a Wiccat engrave and you have the equip, where's Tales of the Fairy Tale? Okay, so that's how you go for game. You go battle, 1850, 2850, 1850, and then Wiccat targeting either the Luna or the Match Girl. Honestly, doesn't matter. If you do the Luna, that's going to go back to grave, but you're winning the game. This is also pretty contingent on either them having nothing out or ball. Normally it's ball, because ball allows you to attack directly. So even if they have a full board, 1850, 2850, 1850, activate Wiccat, targeting Match Girl. It summons itself first, so you can't have a full board. You cannot have a full board to do this. Sends itself, 1850. And that's how you make a stuffed crust pizza. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I'm so really excited I got top 6. I think it's a great deck, and I think the more I learn and the more I practice, I will just get better and better and better at it, and it is probably going to be my Corey deck. I do want to play Blitzclick as well, and I'm really hyped on Malfi. Don't know if that's ever going to actually be a good deck or not, but yeah, see you on the next one. Bye!